Hey, fourth graders, Mrs. Semick here, and we are continuing on with our fiction study. And today, I have to say, is one of my favorite lessons. We're going to be looking at the trickery feature of some of our traditional literature. Now, one of the most interesting features of traditional literature is trickery. And what I mean by that is characters in traditional literature often use trickery or tricks or pranks to complete a quest. Now, these trickster characters are very cunning and witty, okay? And they use their trickery usually for selfish, but maybe sometimes for generous reasons. Trickster tales share a particular cultural wisdom simply about the human nature. And today we're going to read a tale that is filled with trickery. Today we're going to be reading How Spider Helped a Fisherman. And as we're going to follow the plot of the story and make predictions about the events that are going to take place in the story based on our knowledge here, that we're going to learn more about these trickster tales because all trickster tales share some common elements. So let's look at those. Let's look at what are those common characteristics of trickster tales. So usually a trickster tale here, we know it is a clever animal or person who plays tricks on other characters. Now, one of the characters has a problem to solve because we know all fiction, they have to face a problem to build on with the plot. Now, the trickster has one or two main characteristics. Usually, those characteristics have to do with greediness or boastfulness, like where if you're being very boastful, you're bragging. The language sounds as if someone's telling the story out loud. Because remember, this traditional literature is told from one generation to the next. So you have the storyteller sound to it. And there is a moral lesson or some kind of theme at the end for us to learn from. Okay. All right. So I wonder, what story are we going to read? Can we think of a story we've read in which a character uses trickery? Are you looking at the adventures of our spider here with our West African folk tales? So we're going to read this here, okay? And the story we're going to read aloud from our collection of stories about spider is How Spider Helped a Fisherman. Now, after looking at the first page, because I'm not going to read all of it, I want you to read the first page with me here. I want you to think about, who do you think the characters that's going to use trickery? Is it the spider? Or is it the fisherman? Or is it a character we haven't read about yet? Okay, so let me pull up my book here for us. Make this real big so we can see it. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. How Spider Helped a Fisherman. In the village of Akeem, there was once a fisherman who worked very hard. Spider noticed how many big fish the fisherman brought to his house each evening. Spider was determined to find a way to get some for himself. So one day, he went to see the fisherman and offered to help him. But the fisherman knew all about Spider, and he knew Spider was greedy and lazy and always up to something. All right, friends, who's the trickster? Who's my prankster? Do you think it's the spider? Do you think it's the fisherman? All right, well, Mrs. Semick here, I'm going to predict that it's Spider because the text says that he was determined to get some fish for himself. So let's keep going. The people of the Yet when Spider asked if he could help, the fisherman said, "Of course you can." The people of Akeem all laughed. "What a fool that fisherman is," they said. "Spider will take all the fish, and the fisherman will do all the work." But the fisherman only smiled. And on the first morning, when Spider came to help, the fisherman said to Spider, "Now someone has to do the work, and someone has to get tired. So why don't we take turns? One day you will be the one who gets tired, and I'll do the work. And then the next day, I'll be the one who gets tired, and you can do the work. So today, we will make traps to catch the fish, and I will make the traps, and you will get tired." Well, it does sound like Spider is our trickster. I mean, it does say he's greedy and lazy and he's always up to something. But the fisherman seems wise to his tricks too. Remember, he says he knew him and he knew about his tricks. So do you think Spider will manage to succeed in tricking the fisherman? Or is the fisherman going to outwit Spider? I wonder what's going to happen. So let's keep reading. Me get tired? Shouted Spider. Indeed not. I'll make the traps and you'll get tired. Very well, said the fisherman, if that is what pleases you. And he lay down on the ground as though he were very tired, while Spider made all the traps. The following day, the fisherman said to Spider, My friend, today we must set the traps in the river. This time I will set the traps and you will get tired for me. Never, shouted the Spider. He set the traps in the water while the fisherman lay down on the bank. The fisherman moaned and groaned and rubbed his head and rolled around as if he was very tired. My, oh my, he cried. I'm so tired. Well, on the third day, the fisherman said to Spider, Surely we must have to change today. I shall collect the fish from the traps, and you'll be the one who gets tired. Do you think I am a fool? Spider shouted. You will get tired and I'll collect the fish. If you insist, answered the fisherman. And when the people of Akeem walked past the river, they saw Spider busily gathering. The fish and fisherman laying on the bank, looking very tired, but he kept his eyes fastened on Spider. So poor Spider did not get any of the fish. And on the final day, the fisherman said to Spider, Today I will take the fish to market, and you will get tired. Nonsense, said Spider. I will carry the fish to market, and you will get tired. And so Spider carried all the fish to market. Spider seems to think he is tricking the fisherman, but I'm not sure this is the case at this point. I think the fisherman may be actually tricking Spider into doing the work because Spider insists. What does he keep saying? Nonsense! I never get tired. What do you think? Do you think the fisherman's tricking him? Well, let's continue reading the story and let's see who outwits whom as we wrap this up. When people came to buy, they paid the fisherman because the fish belonged to him. And when all the fish were gone, the fisherman gave Spider 4 coins, one for each day he had worked. Spider saw that he had been tricked. He had very little of the money and none of the fish. And at first he was angry, and then he simply burst out laughing at himself. Next time, I will be the winner, he said, and he went merrily back to his little house among the banana leaves. One who plays tricks himself may be tricked if he is too greedy. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story here as we read about Spider and the fisherman. So, it was kind of funny how it showed us that playing tricks on people, it really doesn't always turn out the way the trickster had planned, right? Because we were thinking usually it was Spider who's going to be the trickster. Okay, so let's think about that moral lesson again. And I'm going to start here down at the bottom because we're looking at these elements, and this is what you have in your Google document today to fill out. We're going to talk about them here, but I want you to go back and fill it in the way with your words, okay? Because maybe you had a little bit more evidence that you were able to pull out. But let's think about that moral lesson. That was in italics at the very, very end of our story. What did it say? That's a lesson that Spider learned from the fisherman. Those who play tricks. What did we say? So the one who plays the tricks himself may be tricked if he's too greedy. So Spider was too greedy, and he ended up getting outwitted by our fisherman here. Okay. All right. So let's think here. How did our story, it says the language sounds as if someone were telling the story out loud. The very beginning started a certain way that kind of let me know, this is a folk tale. Someone's telling me the story. How did it start? Do you remember? Remember it said, in the village of Akeem, there once was a fisherman who worked very hard. Okay, so remember we even talked about that literary feature here with the literary language. Once upon a time, there once was a fisherman. Okay, it gives it that storyteller feel that our traditional literature has. Now, our trickster here, okay, usually has things such as greediness or boastfulness. And the trickster, let's jump up to the top this time. Who was the trickster? Well, in the beginning, we thought it might be Spider, right? Okay, but it ended up being the fisherman, okay, who was actually tricking Spider into doing the work. And he maybe realized that Spider was up to no good because what was the characteristic of Spider? What was he known for? The town knew him as. The fisherman knew Spider was greedy and lazy. We already knew that. Okay. And that's how the fisherman ended up being the trickster in the end. He was able to trick Spider. Now, what did Spider want? What was his problem that started the very beginning? Why did he even approach the fisherman? What was he wanting from the fisherman? Remember? Ah, yes. The spider wanted to find a way to get some fish for himself because this fisherman was known for pulling in the larger fish, right? And he thought he'd get outwit him, but that fisherman was too smart for Spider today. So when you go into your Google Doc today, please make sure you fill in that evidence that we've discussed today, talking about our trickster tale. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I will catch up with you guys next time.